Okay, so what we have we have a tester here. Okay, this is a circuit tester. It's a Klein ET310. All right, and it comes with a plug-in tester also. This is and I plugged that into the outlet that we're going to work on today. All right, this is Joe Spina Electrician's Masterclass. All right, and this is a DIY forum that everybody is welcome. All right, electricians, non-union guys, union guys, licensed electricians, homeowners, electricians in general. All right, aspiring apprentices. All right, where you can come into the room and you could just ask questions. All right, or you can ask the electricians that might be in the room, and they'll be happy to answer your questions. All right. So what's happening is I have it plugged in. We're going to find the breaker. Okay. You don't want to really. We're going to find the breaker, which one it is, and I'm not going to turn it off this time because I turned it off and it wound up being the Wi-Fi. Okay, so it kind of cut me off before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it again. All right, I'm turning it on, and we're going to go down. All right, so that's the fourth breaker, which is breaker number 8. All right, because this is a 20 circuit panel. All right, okay, so now that's off. All right, make believe it's off. I shut it off. All right, what you need to do is shut it off. Okay, so if you're a homeowner, shut it off. You're an electrician, you're used to it, you want to work on it live, it's up to you. All right, I don't work on anything live that's really close. Like if the wires are like really short or something like that, I'll shut the circuit off. All right, but a lot of times, you know, my customers will be saying to me, you know, why don't you turn the circuit off? And I said, as long as you're careful and you don't ground yourself, you know, you don't have to turn it off. If you're a homeowner, you're not used to electricity and you're not familiar with it, turn the circuit off. Okay. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you with the tester. Okay, so we're going to go back, and we're going to go back by the outlet. Okay, so now we're back by the outlet. You see where it's plugged in. The tester was plugged in. All right, let me get some light over there. All right. Okay, so now you can see me and you can see the tester. Tester's out. Okay, so I'm going to be careful with it because I'm an electrician. Okay, so I'm going to be careful with it. But if you're a homeowner, shut the breaker off. All right, don't work on anything live. Like I tell you all the time, if you're going to replace an outlet, if you're going to replace a light, if you're going to replace a switch, that's good. All right, if you're going to do any wiring, you need to get it inspected. All right, and whether you get it inspected from your homeowner's permit because it's your house, all right, or you call an electrician, make sure that he files the permit. All right. If you can, like, click, subscribe. All right. To this room, and you know, we'll be doing a lot of great stuff. So Electrician's Masterclass is basically a preparation class for New Jersey license. All right, so that's electriciansmasterclass.com. You can click on that if you upcoming electrician, you want to take the test. All right, but we're going to go over you know, a lot of electrical stuff. All right, so right now this is a decor outlet. All right, these outlets about like $3 compared to like 59 cents. You know what I mean? Because they're fancier, they're square and everything. You know, they have the same shape as the GFI. You can see this one right here. The, you know, it's like a rectangle shape. All right, so we're going to take this one out and replace it with another one. All right, so we're just going to take it out here. So this is like a bunch of wires because there's a couple of different it's in and out, and then it has a splice on it. All right. So as you can see, here's the neutral, here's the hot. Okay. All right. And what they did was they had one come in from one side, and then the other one come out from the other side. All right. And then they put a tail on this. All right. It's also feeding another outlet. Okay. That goes up to a TV outlet. All right. Behind the TV. So that's why you have the 3 wires, and then you have one jumper. You have one jumper wire coming off of it onto the outlet. All right. So let me put those back, push them in nice. So they're ready to go. All right. Like I said, you see one hand. I got one hand on it. Right. I'm not grounding myself. Right. Okay. So this is what we're doing here. Push this in. This is a plastic box. All right. So because it's a plastic box, this means that your device definitely has to be grounded. All right. So we're not grounding the actual box. We're grounding the actual device. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. So hey Evan, what's going on? How you doing tonight? What's up, Sparks? What's up, Lotus? Welcome to the room. Yeah, it's a decor outlet. It's for decoration. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because it's fancier outlet. You know, you see that a lot in new houses, and sometimes you see it, you know, in old houses. You know, depending on the look that you're looking for. If you want a modern look, you know. Okay, why is it that I don't see any wires coming from the back of the TV that's hung on the wall? You said that there was a TV on top on the wall. Yeah, there's a TV outlet. It's up the wall. Yes. And there's a picture over the TV outlet. So that's the reason why I'm not showing you. All right. So anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this off. All right, and we're gonna take the ground off first. All right. Pull that ground off like that. All right. We're just going to straighten it out for a second, because I want to show you something. I think I told you guys last time about the stripper. Okay, the wire stripper. Okay, this one I like. It's the one with the yellow right here. Okay, they make white, they make yellow, but this one is let me get my glasses on for a second. This is a stripper, and what it does, it cuts bolts. It cuts 832 screws. All right. It cuts 632 screws. All right. If you can see that, see, these are the bolt. You stick the screw in there. You turn it. You thread it, and then you open this up, and it cuts the screw. All right. And then you unthread it, and it makes a nice thread. All right. So if you look at this, there's a yellow, well, actually, it's looks like white or yellow writing, and one side is for solid, one side is for stranded, if you can see it. All right, and then the stranded side we're not using, because we got a solid wire. Okay, so we're going from the biggest wire, which is 10, to number 18. All right, and if you did stranded, it would be 12. The biggest wire to 20 AWG. All right. So so now we're going, and I'm going to show you how to see the size of the wire, so you know what kind of outlet to get, 15 amp or 20 amp. So like I said, if it fits nice in the hole like this, if you could see this, let me bring you up a little closer. All right. If it fits nice in the hole without me, see, if I go in the hole above it, it won't go through the hole. So that's definitely not a 16 wire. We go down to the next one, it goes right in. And that's how you would strip it. So this would be a 14 wire, all right? Which makes sense, because it's a 15 amp circuit for general receptacles in the living room, all right? All right, so we took this one off. All right. Let me back this up a little bit. All right. Give me 1 second. You have those pliers at work, but you thought they were fancy scissors? Okay. Okay, so, Evan, did you bring your wife? You were with your wife the other night, weren't you? Okay, tell her I said hello. You thought I forgot, right? All right, so anyway, so this is the neutral wire, okay, which is your white wire, okay? Now I'm not touching it with both my fingers, all right? I'm putting my thumb behind it here. And then what I'm doing is, let me bring in you a little closer so you can see everything, all right? I'm taking this off like this, all right? Hold on. Like that. And then I'm taking it off without touching the other side, all right? Separate it from that wire because it's not really going to do anything because it's neutral, but it will, if you put the black up against the ground or the neutral, it's gonna go boom. So same thing, we're gonna take the black off, all right? Like that. Now there's no ground, so I'm not gonna get a shock, okay? Because once I put that ground wire on there, that's when I'm gonna get my shock, all right? If I touch it, all right? If I ground myself. All right, so on these outlets, sometimes you'll see, let me just tighten the screw. Sometimes you'll see on the hot side, sometimes you'll see one screw that has, you have like two wires in your outlet. You might have a red and you might have a black, and the red is usually your switch leg, all right? And how I remember it is, I know it sounds funny. I remember it as a hot bottom and a switch top, okay? So what I do is I keep the hot wire on the bottom. So what happens is if I had two wires, like if I had two wires in this box and one was red and one was black and one was being controlled by the switch, the red wire, what I would do is, since we're throwing this one out, I'm going to show you, we'd take our needle nose, all right? You see this right here? There's a tab that connects both of these screws right here, okay? So what I would do is I take my needle nose in the middle and I'd go back and forth like this and I split the tab. You see now they're separated, okay? So what would happen is if the top was switched, you would get the red wire on the top, okay? You'd have a red wire on the top and you'd have a black wire on the bottom, all right? And then the black wire that controls the bottom would make the switch hot all the time, okay? So that you would do that on the hot side, which is the brass side, okay? The neutral side, you wouldn't have to split the tab, all right? The neutral side is the silver side, which is the white side, okay? So we're gonna put our new outlet in. All right, so let's bend these back again. And I'm going to show you guys how to bend these again. All right. This is a little long right here. Usually I like to do 3/4 of an inch. All right. And a lot of times electricians and homeowners will make the same mistake, all right, the way they bend their hook. All right. The hook is the biggest thing, you know, the way it goes around your screw to make a tight connection. All right. So what's going to happen is when they go to make their hook, they always go from the middle. Don't go from the middle. Go from the end, all right? And you see how that makes a nice hook? That makes a really nice hook. Let me do it again, all right? I'm gonna straighten this one out. Like I said, all you need is about 3/4 of an inch, all right? And you don't go from the middle. You go from the end, right at right here at the tip of your pliers, and you go from the end and you bend it and it makes a nice hook, okay? Same thing with your ground, right at the end in the corner, and it makes a nice hook. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our ground on first, and you're going to go in the direction of the screw. Always go in the direction of the screw. You know, I notice a lot of electricians, what they do is they stab it in the back. That's a quick way to get in and out if you're wiring like big houses and you want to get in and out. But later on down the line, the the electrical outlet tends to get hot, and what happens is it heats up and the wires loosen and they work their way out of the receptacle, okay? And then you're missing lights and you're missing power going to your outlets, and that's the reason why. Okay, so I would never suggest you stabbing an outlet in the back. It's just a bad habit, all right? That's why they put the screws on here also. So what you're going to do is we're going to wrap it around the screw in the direction of the screw. You see the way it's going? You see the way this hook is? It goes in the direction of the screw. So I'm going to put it on the green. Let's put it on the green, okay? And it goes in the direction of the screw. So when I go to tighten it, it makes a nice tight connection because it's twisting the wire, you see, right around the screw. You see it? Hold on 1 second. Yeah, sometimes electrician, I wear gloves sometimes, but you don't have to. You know, if you work safe, you don't need to, okay? So, but that's a good question, Evan. All right, so now the next one, what I do is if I have one wire going to each side, what I'll do is I will tighten one of the screws, because you don't want to leave your screws loose because it becomes energized, okay? So if it gets pushed up against one of the ground wires, it's going to short. All right, so what I do is I tighten that one. I'll usually do, like if I have 2 wires, I'll keep the bottom. All right, same thing, direction of the screw. All right, see how pretty that is? All right, and then what we do is we go to tighten it like that, nice and tight. All right, and then we flip it around like this. All right, the top gets tightened, all right, because we're not using that one. All right, now this is where you got to be careful because this is the hot wire, okay? So same thing, direction of the screw. All right, see how nice? It's not sticking out. All right, you don't want to squeeze the insulation either. You don't want to squeeze the insulation. All right, you want it just to bite down on the copper, all right? Because we don't want no heating, we don't want no problems, we don't want no arcing, okay? We don't want no fires, all right? So we go to tighten this up, and what I do is, you know, I'll take a piece of tape, all right? And then we'll put tape around it, okay? So it's a good habit. You don't have to do it, but it's a good habit, all right? And then you just tape around it like this. All right, and then what we do is just make sure we bring it back into the box and put it in there safely. All right, and nothing's like touching. All right. Okay. And you always make sure your outlet's nice and straight. All right. I'm going to put our cover back on. Okay. All right, so that's good. You just put your tester back in, And this tester, if the two lights are lit on the right side, that means it's correct. Okay. So that's it for that outlet. If you have any questions, let me bring this up a little bit. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer your questions now. Yeah, no backstabbers. We don't want to backstab the your outlets, because it's not a good habit. You know what I mean? Some guys, they love to do that. You know, but over time, it starts to heat up, and eventually it will come out of the outlet. You know, sometimes it will be really hot when that happens. You know. Let me move my camera over here. All right, move my camera over here like this. All right. So I mean, if you guys have any questions, shoot away. You know, like I said, like, subscribe, and click onto this channel, and we can do a lot of things. You know. The person who, Lotus, who you said who makes the tester? See, this is the tester, like I was telling you. This is a nice tester. The client's been coming out with a lot of good stuff. You know, I'm not pushing them or anything, because they don't endorse me or anything. But I happen to like this stuff. I happen to use this stuff all the time. You know, because it's good stuff. All right. But this just, you know, it just goes together like this. You know. And it's a good tool to find a circuit. Let's see here. Now, when you say, how do you know where to put the outlet? What does that mean? When you say where to put the outlet, all your wires are going to be ran ahead of time. Yeah, there's you know, each one is going to have its, you know, it's going to have its own box. The general rule, you know, of outlets is, you know, 6 feet from the doorway and every 12 feet. Oh, the plate I was working on, why did I place it near the floor? Well, that's behind the couch, that outlet. That's why it's you know, just a typical outlet. Usually they're like 16 inches to the bottom of the box. No, like I said, Lotus, that's the general rule. It's 6 feet from a doorway, all right, and every 12 feet. So if you have a little wall 2 feet or more, you have to put an outlet. And then if you can't put an outlet, you have to come out 18 inches, at least 18 inches from the wall, and put a floor outlet if you can't put an outlet on the wall. But like I said, it's 6 feet and every 12 feet. Oh, you're welcome. If you're just coming in, welcome to Electrician's Masterclass DIY Chat. And we're going to go over questions, you know, just as you ask the questions, you know, ask me whatever you want to ask me. especially if you're a homeowner or if you're an aspiring electrician and you don't know what's going on as far as electricity, or you're scared of electricity and you're afraid to venture into it. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody. If you're not comfortable with it, then you need to call an electrician, you know? There are different kinds of plates for an outlet, like plastic or metal. Back in the day, I used to use a lot of metal plates. That metal plates were big in the 80s and the 70s, and even before. They tend to crack. So what I use now is the nylon plates. They're like a bendable plastic, where you could actually cut them with a tin snips if you have if it happens to be too close to a doorway and somebody didn't measure it out right, you could cut the actual plate so that it will still fit onto the box. Yeah, so to do that you would have to have your nylon plates. So back in the day I thought they were silly, the nylon plates, but now I swear by them, and they're nice, and they're a nice size, so they cover a lot of stuff. Your work should be good to begin with, you know what I mean? But sometimes, like if you have an older receptacle or something you're replacing, the box happens to be cut out too much or whatever, it covers it, so they work out pretty nice. The gas can. See, they're probably to me when I get okay. So what was I going to say? So sparks. Do all outlets come with plates and wire, or do you have to buy those too? Everything is separate. This is America, so everything is separate. You pay for everything. Yeah, the outlets come separate. The plates come separate. Sometimes you might have fancier plates that might come. You might get the whole plate. It's called a screwless plate, and the bottom part goes onto the outlet, and then it pops on to the base. All right, so that's a screwless plate, and that comes with that's a little bit more expensive, but it's a nicer look because you don't see the screws. So that comes with it. But most of the time the outlets and the screws, the outlets and the plates come separately. All right, and then yes, and the wire obviously is separate because that's got to go in first. Oh, you're welcome, Sparks. Are there any places, Lotus says, are there any places where you should not put an outlet? Could it be hazardous? That's a good question. Most of the places are accounted for, if you were going to put you couldn't put a regular outlet near a sink, obviously. You couldn't put a regular outlet near a sink in a bathroom. Those have to be GFI protected, like we talked about the other night, I think. And but if there is something that is near water, it has to be a GFI outlet. So that could be where you say hazardous, you know what I mean? Because you can get electrocuted like that. So you want to move an outlet from the corner of your powder room to the sink area. Should you just get an electrician to install a new one, or should I blank off the old one? You want the corner of your powder room to the sink area. Should you get an electrician to install a new one? Yeah, he's probably going to have to, if there's no power there, he's going to have to take it off of something that's either there, if there's no outlet there to begin with, you know. And then, like I said, you go into the sink area, so you're definitely going to need, you're going to need a GFI outlet. All right, so can we hire an electrician to put an outlet near our toilet? Yeah, Evan, that's a good question, because now they have these Toto toilets, and that's like a bidet, and you put it usually on the right side of the toilet. All right, and I put a couple of these in. All right, so can we hire like to put an outlet near your toilet? We need an extra one for a hair dryer. Oh, you're talking about above. Okay, so I was thinking you were talking about, you can put an outlet below, all right, if you were going to have one of those toilet seats. It sprays and it heats up your butt and all that stuff. Okay, it's a what they call a Toto toilet seat, and you could plug it in. But that also has to be, anything in the GFI, anything in the bathroom needs to be GFI. So that has to be a GFI receptacle, all right? And then when you were talking about before, yes, you can put an outlet next to the toilet. All right, but like I said, it has to be a GFI receptacle. All right. A lot of people like those Toto toilet seats. You know, instead of buying a bidet, it kind of saves you a little money here and there. You know. Yeah. Do you have let's say we want to put an outlet near the wall next to the toilet. Okay. Is that on the first floor or the second floor, Evan? That bathroom, is it on the second floor or the first floor? Oh, second floor. Okay, you have access above? Do you have an attic? Access above? Oh, you have a little attic. Okay, so it's possible that either you have, maybe you have a splice box up there that you could tap off of. Okay, either that or maybe there's an outlet in the hall. No, actually not an outlet in the hall, but you can actually tap off of, if you can see the wires going down to your bathroom switch, you might, not your bathroom switch, if you have a GFI, maybe you have a GFI in the bathroom already. Maybe that might be near the switches, all right? So you can come back out of that box, and then you can go to the near your toilet, what you're talking about, for a hair dryer you were talking about. Lotus says, my outlet always turns off. I've pressed that red button in order to reactivate it. The outlet is on in the kitchen. What's happening? Yeah, because it's like a little breaker, you know, it'll pop out. When it senses a problem. All right, Spark says a GFI, last you said that was the one that shuts off when there's water in it. Yes, there's, say last time. Yeah, anytime you get water in it, it shuts it off so you don't get electrocuted. Yeah, so if you can either get it from above, Evan, the reason I say come out of the GFI, because the GFI probably, if it's an old bathroom, it might be a 15 amp circuit, but most of the newer bathrooms, they will have a 20 amp circuit for the GFI, because you're plugging in those hair dryers, and they tend to trip the circuit a lot, you know. In fact, the code is that you have to, if you're going to wire a new bathroom, it's supposed to be on its own 12-wire circuit. All right? Or you could take that 12-wire circuit and you could split two bathroom receptacles, two bathroom GFIs. Like, say if you have them back to back, you could bring one circuit and split the two GFIs if you have existing bathrooms and you just want to put a GFI in there, outlet. Lotus says the walls need outlets. My living room has two on two separate walls. The other two are on exposed brick. Like I said before, the rule is 6 feet from the doorway, and every 12 feet you should have an outlet. All right, you can add more if you want to. That's your choice. I mean, it's more convenient when you add more, but the minimum is every 6 feet and then 12 feet afterwards. 6 feet from the doorway and every 12 feet. Okay. If you're coming into the room, welcome to the room, Electrician's Masterclass. Click and subscribe if you can. Do we need to get outlets inspected every few years? No, you really don't. You know, but that's a good question, Evan. It's not a requirement, no. Now, if you have a problem on some of the outlets and you're selling your house and you're getting inspected by a home inspector, all right? Sometimes people, what we call reverse polarity, all right? Sometimes people will take the outlet and they'll put the hot wire on the silver side, okay? And they'll put the white wire on the brass side, all right? Most of the time it's probably not going to do anything, but if you have something that requires the neutral to be on the left side where it normally is, you see the neutral? The neutral is always the longer slit in the outlet right here, and this is the hot side, okay? So that's called reverse polarity, and the inspector will fail you. Once he puts his tester in there, he's going to fail you, okay? So that has to be adjusted. So yeah, when we're talking about selling a house, that's when you really need to get your outlets corrected, all right? Or else you're not going to be able to sell your house. Okay, so Lotus says, can a light switch control two outlets in the same room or even two separate rooms? Please tell us the benefits of an outlet that has a USB. That's a good question, Lotus. A light switch, yes, it can control two outlets. You can control two outlets by going to the first one and then tailing off of that one, all right? Or even two separate rooms. Can a light switch control two outlets in the same room or even two separate rooms? Yeah, you can do anything you want to do, you know, basically. The only thing that you can't put on that outlet is a dimmer. You can't use the dimmer because you can't, you know, you have to have a normal switch when you go to switch outlets, all right? You can't put no dimmer on there. Hey, Todd, what's going on? Welcome back to the room. Yes, I replaced an outlet early. You could catch the live once it's done. But you know, we just replaced an outlet. Just basic stuff, telling you how to shut off the breaker and all that stuff, and how to approach it, and how to make your hooks on your wires so that it makes a good connection and everything like that. But thanks for coming back to the room. If you guys can, just click like and subscribe, or tell your friends to come into the room. The Electrician's Masterclass. We're basically we are a licensed prep course that preps up and coming electricians for the electrical test, and we also do electrical videos. You know, because I do have I have a company, and we do electrical videos to show homeowners the right way of doing things. Like I said, make sure that you just replace stuff. You replace a light, you replace an outlet, you replace a switch. If you are a homeowner, make sure if you're doing any new wiring, you get it inspected, whether you use your homeowner's permit or you call a licensed electrician. All right, don't take a chance, because your house is worth too much money, and so is your family. All right, that sounds good, Todd. Also, the benefits, Lotus was asking the benefits of USB outlets is that, it's convenient. You can replace a regular outlet with a USB outlet, because this way you can plug your, I don't know, maybe your charger in with the USB. All right, or you can plug, you can plug a lamp in there also, because you got the regular outlet, and then in the middle you could have like two USB, regular USB